Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Inside TKFC. And today, on this episode, we are blessed to have two special young men. If you've been to a TKFC practice or match, you either seen them or heard them on the sideline. I'm very excited about having this conversation today. But before we go into this conversation, I'm not going to do the intros. I'm going to let you gentlemen introduce yourselves to our viewers. Mm-hmm. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. Omar.
We got rock, paper, scissors.
We're going to rock, paper, scissors on the intros? Yeah, the competition never stops. This is why the kids at TKFC are competitive.
Omar.
All right.
Omar, raised in Riverdale, Maryland. I was born in Somalia. Mm-hmm. You can say at the age of 3, we migrated to Kenya. I lived in Kenyan refugee camp till 9. Came to America. For those 6 years in that refugee camp, did nothing but play ball. Life was the simplest. Might not have had everything, but we had a ball. So when we came to America, we were good at playing already. Then it became, can you afford to play? So we'll get into that later. But Omar, Touch King's co-founder, excited to be here as well.
Omar, everybody, Omar. And then all the way over there, he goes by a lot of names, so I don't even know what his name is. So go ahead, tell the people.
I got about 13 different names. The first one, my real name is Alambi Clark. The kids call me Coach Lambo or Coach John. I was born in Bladensburg, Maryland. I grew up in PG County. I spent a lot of time in Jamaica growing up. I did first grade all the way to 4th grade in Jamaica. And I think that's why I really fell in love with the game. And I piggyback off what Omar said, you know, when you in those type of conditions, all you have is a few things. And then once you have a ball, it feel like you got $1 million. So I really, really grew into loving the sport every day, playing it every day. And that's a big reason why I'm so into it now. It's just, it's in me. It's rooted. But yeah, that's pretty much the intro.
Since he says Caribbean, you know, the only way to do it, you got to throw air horns. Every time Coach Lambo speaks, he's going to get some air horns. All right. So before we get into the tough stuff, you know, TKFC. But before I want to get into TKFC, I have one quick question for you. Is it soccer or football? And tell me why.
It's football. It is football. Okay? I can tell you why. Mm-hmm. You can go to any other continent in the world, and if you say soccer, you're not being taken serious.
That's football for me.
All right, cool.
100%
so we're on the same page, so that means we could continue, because I was about to cut this off. If any of y'all say soccer, I would have been like, nah, we can't talk.
Football.
All right, so let's get into the stuff now. So for both of you, obviously, where did the love of football start?
For me personally, it was me. I grew up playing with my dad. I saw my dad playing a lot. He used to go to the park, the neighborhood, everywhere we go, he used to have a ball, and it was just really a bonded thing at first. And then it got to the point where he would just let me go outside with my friends, and then I just started picking it up on my own, where I started trying things and playing with them and just create a different atmosphere I didn't need without him, you know? So I thank my dad for that, because without him, he put me in front of the ball and taught me every little thing. So that's where I learned it from.
What about you, Coach?
I'd say my dad never played. Never played. I'd say just from not having anything, just the ball was the only thing we had. So you kind of get to fall in love with what you have at a specific time in life.
So, not to cut you off, but saying that you grew up in a refugee camp, I come from the east coast of Africa as well, and I'm very hip to the whole refugee camp situation. But coming from where you say you grew up, was there any exposure to football before you got to the camp, or
There was no electricity. There was no TV.
so?
No one knew what game was on TV tomorrow.
And the ball came from where?
We made it.
So for those who don't know,
We made the ball.
can you please enlighten the kids today how easy they have it? When you say you made the ball, please explain.
Man, I am telling you, all the kids that have the privilege to have a ball, stop leaving your ball at the field. Okay? Because I'm talking about ripped up clothing, plastic bottles, trash bags. If anyone in the village, the camp, the refugee camp, had duct tape, they were getting picked first that day,
And that's your material.
because the duct tape was everything that just held the
Held it
whole
together.
ball together.
Man, I miss those times.
There were times where a ball would rip. You're not leaving it outside. You're taking it back home so it can get sold.
Man,
So we fell in love with football. I'm talking about some of the videos that you will see on Instagram with African players doing tricks and this and that in the villages. I'm telling you.
that's how you grew up.
The
So,
experience.
Siblings while you were at camp?
Yes.
So the competition was on from the day one for both of you? Siblings, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I got a younger brother.
So the rivalry started early
Oh.
as far as football goes.
It wasn't no really a rivalry. It was more like me and my brother specifically. I don't know, other brothers really beef, but me and him was more like, all right, I learned this. You need to do this, that type of thing. Or he like, hey, I don't like when you do that. You need to fix it. So me and my brother got a different type of relationship. Yeah, we compete when we practice against each other, but it's always like, all right, you suck at this. I could have picked you apart here. You need to work on this and that type of thing. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's brothers. So obviously we get heated, but it's never like a competition thing.
I've seen them too.
Oh, yeah?
I have seen them too.
So, not that you said you have seen them, so which brings me to this. So, let's fast forward. So, you're able to get out of, refugee camp. You're growing up in PG County. I'm assuming at the time, football is not a big thing in America,
Oh nah.
right? So, how and when and at what levels? This might be a layer question, right? So, just to let everybody know, at what level, you started loving the game, your dad didn't play, but your situation forced you to have something to do as an activity, and it became love. At what point and at what level did you take your football careers?
That's a good question. Go ahead.
I'd say sophomore year,
College,
high school.
high school.
Yeah, you start to know by 10th grade of high school, or maybe 9th grade, if you're walking onto that varsity team, you're not only on the team, but you're actually playing. You start to have a sense of, okay, who else is around this county or this state that might be better than me? And then you start to realize, I just need to do X, Y, and Z differently. So I would say, let's say from the age of 8 to about 14, it's an aspiration. I want to be a pro. I wish to be a pro. I hope to be a pro. You ask a kid, what's your dream job? I want to be a professional player. But at 14, 15, you start to know
If it's a possibility.
if the dream is gonna, if you're getting closer and closer and closer. You might not make it till 2024. You never shut the door on your dream, but at 14, 15, you should know you have that it factor in you.
What about you guys personally? Like, what was the highest level you played?
Me personally, I think it was like SemiPro. It was a team in Philadelphia at the time called Philadelphia Fury. Well, I really appreciate that experience because that kind of really showed me like football. Like you're saying, growing up in PG County is not really the best coaching. So it's like you live off of really like a lot of just talent. like just off of what you know and what you learn, and then you might get a good coach every now and then. But when I went there, that's when I kind of really they really broke the game down to me, and it exposed me to the different levels of it. Because when I was there, we went on a couple trips overseas, and it kind of really opened my eyes and said, okay, everything my coaches were saying is true, and this is why it's true. And so I would say, yeah, the semi-pro level, but I train with a lot of pro players. I would tell kids this is it's a very slim thing, the difference between an amateur and a pro. The guy walking down the street can be a pro. It's just a discipline. Like, you have way more talented amateurs than you have talented professionals, but the professionals got way more discipline. They do every little thing, whereas the amateur, he just live off his talent. He think the talent gonna get you so far. So I was in an amateur mindset for a very long time until I got into a professional environment and see, okay, this is what professionals act like, look like, and walk like. So semi-pro, I would say, would be my highest level.
For you, Coach O?
He hides it. He did play against El Shea. That's in Spain, first division.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hides it. He's been in Ireland versus Cork City.
Oh, let me find out.
He hides it.
I need to see the tapes.
Yeah,
It wasn't good.
He hides it.
What about you, Coach O?
I spent some time in Ecuador on trial with MLA.
Mm-hmm.
It was for the reserve team. I was there for about 6 months. Got injured. My dad was really never. My dad was that African dad that wanted us to be doctors and lawyers.
Yeah.
So even going through the opportunity as a player to be on trial, be in a different country, it was still, you need to come back home, go back to school.
Go back to school. They don't play, man.
Yeah, so I had a great time in Ecuador. My junior year of high school, I got to spend time in boarding school in Brazil as well.
Wow.
But yeah, man, it's if I can go back and redo it, because of the one thing that we didn't have is the opportunities and the access and the social medias and
During
the
that
highlight
era.
tapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That era, it was definitely tougher for anybody who played football.
Exposure was difficult. So,
but with all that knowledge, though, so now we come back around in circle. How did you two meet?
the ball.
The ball.
Y'all met on the field.
The ball.
Competing against each other or in the same squad?
We were together and we were on the same team.
Okay.
And before the competition, his dad used to train me as well.
A fun fact.
Yeah.
I played with his dad at Howard University.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, we found out at one of the practices, he shows up. I'm like, he was helping when we were at Randoza. I'm like, yo, Lambo, who's that dude? He looks familiar. Did he used to come play at Howard all the time? He goes, yo, that's my dad. I was like, what?
Yeah,
so,
man.
how life works. Now
Full
he's coaching
circle.
my kids, and I play with his dad. But anyways. So,
And he coaches with us now, too.
And he's one of the coaches.
Yeah, he coaches with us now, too.
So you guys meet playing on the same squad, right? Mm-hmm. You become friends, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then, so for all the reason why we're all doing this, how did Touch Kings come about? Or the idea of Touch Kings come about?
Well, you're not being truthful all the way. This was my high school coach. That's how we really.
See, y'all leaving some important information. So you said you're on the same squad.
This was my high school coach. Like, we had, because I would say 11th grade year. I think that was the first year he was coaching at a Parkdale school, and they school was garbage. When I say garbage. Like, bottom of the table every year. You can bank on it.
So it's definitely a W soon as you go to
That was my
Parkdale.
first year.
That was our schedule.
That was my first year.
I'm looking on the schedule. I see Parkdale. I'm sorry, cool.
That's a win.
W. But now I'm like, yo, because I think this was junior year. So my first 2 year, we spanked them. So I'm looking at the school like nothing. So now they come to my school, and I hear this guy on the sideline chirping like I don't know what. Like, yeah, you're not all that good. Woo, 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 woo. And that time, this is me. I'm a player that I need an edge.
Yeah, right? You need a motivation.
Yeah, I need a little something. So me and him kind of like just doing verbal back and back in the middle of the game. And I'm like, man, whatever, man. I ain't paying him no more. They end up beating us at that way. So that's when I'm like, maybe. Parkdale's kind of good. Wait, hold on. These guys are kind of decent. And then long story short, I was supposed to go to that school, but I kept going to my Bladensburg school out, you know what I mean, because I had friends or whatever the situation was, and I ended up getting in, you know, trouble in school. And then my mom sent me to the right school. And the reason why we're so close is he's the first coach that really kicked me out of practice before. Like, ain't no coach ain't never, because I always, like I said, I always had the mindset of an amateur, you know, have that attitude, show up when you want to show up, just living off of talent or whatever the case may be. And then he was just the first one that really was like, you know what, bro, just go home, son. You don't got to be here. You don't got to do this. You don't got to do that. And you're not forced to be here. And I think that kind of like make our respect level grow from there, because, you know what I mean, it was after that, we went all the way to the final. I don't think we lost a game after that. Like, we went all the way straight to the final.
Sometimes that's needed.
You gotta be able to lead your best player.
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Because your best player will lead the rest of the team.
Absolutely. You bark at the best player, he's gonna be like, but he's the best.
Yeah.
And no, we went on a streak after that. I don't think we were spanking teams left and right after that. But
man, I never see. I didn't even know that. See, I didn't know you were coaching him.
Yeah.
All right, so now you guys are done with high school and coaching, and now how do we circle back to come up with TKFC?
We were working together. At the soccer dome. One thing about me and Lambo, yeah, we're young, but we've experienced a lot of growth together when it came to football, life, you know what I'm saying? The haves, the not haves, you know what I'm saying? The struggle, pretty much. And struggle always brings you closer to people.
Absolutely.
I was injured that first year I was coaching my alma mater. Like, I was injured. I still was an active player, but when the art teacher at the school reached out and said, hey, you know, just come back and give back to the school, this and that. You played here, you did this. I said, cool. I knew nothing about coaching, zero. But the one advice that I always took from the best coach that I had personally was, coach what's in front of you and not what you know. Okay? Don't go in front of another player and say, this is what we did in Ecuador, or this is what we did in boarding school, so I'm going to try it with you guys.
Different situation.
So once you know your subjects, after that it was, okay, can you get your best players to follow your lead even though you're a young coach? Like, for me, it was voluntary. It wasn't even coaching. You know what I'm saying? It was, let me come back from injury, rehab, give back, this and that, be around the ball, and not be at home depressed. And then we ran into each other. After that first year, we ran into each other at the school one day, and I'm looking at it like, yes, we got a player.
We got a player.
We got a player.
Yeah.
We went all the way to regional finals, man. That school it was my school, but, you know, leaving that school after 4 or 5 years, we left a championship banner. And the school's been open since 1966.
Wow.
So to us, it's like, how many coaches since 1966 were at that school coaching soccer, but there's only one banner in the gym?
Wow. What school was this?
Parkdale High School.
Parkdale High School.
Yeah.
Okay.
Riverdale, Maryland.
Yep.
Riverdale.
And we're both from Riverdale, so it's bittersweet.
It's a small world.
Mm-hmm.
So now y'all, you know, at present time, you worked at Soccer Dome, you were saying. And then,
the way it was COVID. COVID just hit. It really sucked at the time because it was pretty much make or break when it came to, okay, we're not young adults anymore, but we're not old adults. We're heading in a direction where we need to know how our future is going to play out.
Right.
So when COVID happened, we got laid off via text message.
Man.
Yeah, we got... and
That's cold.
That was very cold. Did it hurt me? It didn't hurt me, but it woke me up. It woke me up because...
Motivation.
Very, very... to run around from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day and this and that, and COVID broke out.
And you get a text.
You get the text like
you're done.
It's like, okay, well, what about 5 years from now if another pandemic breaks out?
Right.
What do you have to fall back on then? So he and I have been talking back and forth for a long time on how to chase our futures and how to chase careers and what it is we're very good at that we want to keep on. But ultimately, Touch Kings came about because of the kids that we had.
At Soccer Dome.
The loyalty,
Okay.
the support of the parents. We started with 18 kids.
Wow.
18. And today is 296 kids registered at Touch Kings.
So to be clear, established in 2020,
Yeah.
COVID year, and then we in 2024, you're already at 200.
96 kids.
That is incredible.
Hit that button.
One time. Dun-dun-dun-dun. That's it.
Oh no, we don't want that. We don't want that. I hit the wrong one. Yes. Well, that's incredible. So now Touch Kings is formed.
Now let me give you the name though.
Okay. Oh yeah. What is the origin?
The name. Me, I'm very conscious about not making anyone feel bad. I'm not saying he doesn't either. We're both the same way. But he's very confident about we're going to do this. So when we said, who controls the ball better than us if we're actually on the field? And he goes, I don't know that many people. Well, I remember when we used to play pickup games inside the soccer dome. I won't say any names, but one person used to say, oh, these are the Touch Kings.
Really?
So I asked Limbo, I said, what do you think? And then before, it wasn't even an academy.
It was just a football club.
It was a training company.
Oh.
We were spending a lot of time during COVID training professional players under the name Touch Kings. And once these players started to see the quality of work that they were getting while everything was shut down, they just kept coming back, and more players in college and high school and club. And then past COVID, return to play, our own kids said, okay, well, if you guys are not going to be back at the soccer dome, you get two options. Option number one, you guys can take the kids. We support, the parents said we'll support them any way possible with anything you guys need. Or option number two, we'll all go our separate ways and someone else can enjoy all the grassroots time that you guys didn't put in with the kids.
Yeah.
Come on, your son was one of those kids.
Yes.
You saw where we used to start practicing. Some days there'll be baseball flying in this way while we're on the field.
Grass high to the kids' knees. It was real life.
It was prayers. Like you're praying on the way to practice. Like, hey, I hope the county cut the grass today.
Yeah, those were.
But
that's growth and experience.
Me personally, I had the faith. Like I really had the faith that you never want to see someone send an email about you to say, oh, if you guys go try something else, the grass might not be greener on the other side. That's motivation.
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, you telling me these 18 kids will never fail now because of those comments.
Wow.
So that's the take. But he could tell you more.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he said, through the COVID time, we did get laid off, but it was like you said, it was like a time and like, yo, we either can do something for ourselves or we can continue to working for somebody. What's the difference between this guy and us? Why can't we think and why can't we plan and why can't we process and do something for ourselves? And as we sat there, like you said, man, there was plenty of conversations in the backyard. We sitting there writing it down, jotting, man, whatever you want to call it.
Hungry.
Talking about real pen and paper, bro. We can do this. It's not gonna work. Scratch it off. Like we really put some serious, like before it actually came out, we really put some serious thought process, planning, and situation, everything. It was a really this my boy at the end of the day, because like you said, like it was a dark time. It was like I didn't have nothing going on. I don't know if he had anything going on. It was more like, all right, I got you, you got me. Like, what we gonna do?
Do it together.
We got 18 kids.
Yeah.
I think 18 is more than 5, so let's start with 2, and then like how you said, like, and that's just how funny. I don't know if people are religious. It's just funny how God works. Like when once you make your mind up to something, and then you just little steps towards it. Every time we needed a field, some guy just helped out. We got a field. It wasn't the best field,
but at least you have something.
We had that.
Yeah.
Then we went from that. And we need the grass cut. We didn't know we wasn't gonna cut the grass. The grass was too big. But it was just, once you just keep pushing is the message I'm trying to push. Once you have faith and you keep pushing, things just naturally fall into place. And then once you and whoever you're working with got one goal, and like you guys are locked in on one goal, like a lot of things won't sway you. But I think once you try to do too many things at one time, you kind of like, that's where friction usually comes in. But it was very, we was forced pretty much. It was like almost like, hey, I got this for you.
You got me and I got you, and we got nothing else.
What else we gonna do?
We had nothing else.
Literally,
Man.
like it was like, what we gonna do?
So, with all that said, and this just to piggyback to the question, what you guys just said. So, as far since 2020 and where you guys are today, what would you say is your biggest challenge, like building an academy?
Me personally,
Yes.
I think the field stuff was easy because, like you're saying, we born into the sport. We've been coached by a million coaches. It's really off the field. You gotta learn how to deal with parents. You gotta learn how to be organized. Like, you gotta understand now, once you deal with parents, you're not just operating on your level of thinking. Now, if your parent is a doctor, you know how they boom, 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 organized. You got lawyers, you got this, so it's a whole different thought process. Now you have to take the consideration of the adults that's around you, not necessarily just the kids. So that was the biggest thing. The kids are easy, you know what I mean? I'm a big kid at heart. So once I get around the kids, it's whatever. Like,
that's your comfort.
My comfort zone. I'm chill. I can be myself. But now when you get around the parents, now you don't want to say the wrong thing. You know what I mean? You want to say the right thing. It's a little bit more tiptoeing when you're dealing with that part of the business.
What about you? What was the most challenging thing?
The most challenging thing is having access to fields, having access to, funds. He is right. That hour and a half, 3 hours is the best time on the field. That's the easiest. All you're focusing on is the football. That's the easiest thing to do, to be at that training. But the preparation, you're no longer dealing with 18 kids.
Yeah, you said 290 plus now.
Times 2 parents. The communication now has to be spot on. The preparation has to be spot on. Logistics has to be spot on. You're no longer game planning for one team. You're game planning for 15. You're traveling for 15. So I personally, I love it, man. I enjoy it. I really don't see any challenge. The biggest challenge is when we go through so much and it's not appreciated. Then you sit back and you're like...
When you say not appreciated, you mean by whom?
Well, sometimes everyone is not happy internally. I mean, when you have a whole academy, 15 players might be happy, but 4 might not be happy. You know what I'm saying? But me, I don't look at the 15 that's happy. I look at the 4 that's not happy and how we can make you happy as well. We cannot control how fast you get better. You can.
It's up to you.
We can provide you. We can give you the steps. We can give you the resources. We can even give you the time. The choice is yours. So that's the challenge, is making sure everyone is happy.
Man, a follow-up question. Touch King is born 2020. We're growing, right? 4 years now. 200 and some plus kids. Now, this is a dream that started with both of you. You get together. Hard times, you coming up with the plan and all of that. Now, as you grow, you said, as you said, it's 18 kids. That's easy with 2 coaches. And I'm just talking about on the football side of it. So now you got 200 plus kids. And then you guys have, I'm assuming, or correct me if I'm wrong, is there as two coaches first, not, not people who are running the academy, but as coaches in the academy, put yourself in the coach's foot. What is, you guys have an identity that you want to give Touch Kings or a style. And then how do you go about, as you grow, getting coaches that could adapt to the style that you guys want to bring or teach these kids?
I mean, I think the first thing that makes a good coach is the energy, because I think a lot of coaches can put down a lot of cones and tell you a lot of tactics, and they actually know the game, but to actually connect with the kid and make sure the kid actually can grasp the information is a whole different ballgame. I mean, personally, I like to pick a coach that kind of actually played. I'm not saying if you didn't play before, it doesn't matter, but if you played before, you kind of understand sometimes why this person made that mistake. You know what I mean? From the outside looking in, it might look like, oh, why didn't you control the ball? But if you played before, you know it's not easy to control the ball while going backwards, that type of... So those little things really play a huge factor. But I really think, first you just got to be... have some type of energy, have some enthusiasm about yourself. Like, I want to be here. I mean, I want this kid to learn, and I'd rather turn you down than turn you up. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather you be upbeat, and I got to be like, hey, come on, man. Like, chill out. Don't go on so hard, you know what I mean? But I'd rather that kind of energy than me have to tell you, hey, like, come on.
Energy levels low.
Yeah, come on, get going. They're not feeling you. So I really feel like you set the tempo as the coach of your team. You know, if your energy's up, they're going to be up. If you're down, they're going to be down. So that's the first thing I look for. And then if you have some type of soccer knowledge, but everybody grows. Because when I very first started, I knew the game, but I didn't know how to coach. So I sat back, and the guys who didn't know how to coach, I really took notes. I said, oh, he took 5 steps in between each cone. He's not just dropping down the cone everywhere. Or he's transitioning, from one drill to drill. He's not really setting up. Like, those little things, if you're really interested, you pick up on those. But that's what I look for in a coach. You know, enthusiasm level, and can you actually get your message across, even if you can't juggle the 10, but you're connecting with the kids. I think that's a huge part.
So that goes during recruitment of coaches.
Yeah.
So you both agree on the same type of coach, similar coaching?
The thing is, it's a lot of thing is where the perception might be is like we actually think a lot alike. Like, so a lot of things where I don't necessarily got to ask him, you got to necessarily ask me, unless it's a huge problem, obviously. But the little things is more 9 times out of 10 is more like
10 out of 10.
And you know what I mean? Like, we got a few times where we don't do that, you know what I mean? But
yeah, that's what triggered me with this question.
9.5.
Because you guys grew up together for being together for such a long time prior of TKFC being born. That's why I asked this question, because I'm like, I've seen you guys train individually, one on one, and a team. But so because you guys are the founder of the academy, the translation, it's a little, as the team grow, as the academy grows, the translation is not, it's hard to do with two coaching. So how do you, because you guys have way more football coaching knowledge than I have, how do you translate what you guys' philosophy is? So the academy, unless the academy doesn't have, like, you don't want to have, say, a TKFC identity is this. So when you go face any other academy in the area, it's like, oh, that's Touch Kings, this is their style.
Well, you got to be able to teach.
As individuals.
What we do well is we teach. We not only with the player, we're teaching coaches as well. We want our coaches, 2 days ago, who were we playing? Futsal with the kids?
Yes.
Right afterwards, we were at a restaurant talking about the next training session.
That's awesome.
So we teach. We even teach our own. We push each others to go into the classroom and get licensing and stuff. If you're able to teach a kid and not coach the kid, because you don't coach until you're 16, 17.
That's important.
Okay, you're not coaching until you're 16, 17, tactics, this and that, blah. The rest of the time you're teaching. So what we try to do is we try to get like-minded people, energy level, age. What you're saying, can you do it? If you're telling me go through those cones, this is my defender, use
Show
your
me
left
first.
foot, can you do it?
Right.
Your player will respect you if you can demonstrate. Not saying if you can't or you're up in age, they won't respect you. But the more relatable you are, the more they can see what you can do. It's ball game. So coming in with the energy, we look for punctuality. We look for little things because the little things actually build up to be the best coach.
So lead by example.
There you go.
With that said, though, like at Touch Kings, I'm looking for an academy. This is me speaking from a parent perspective. Academy in the Randall Howard County area. Type in Touch Kings, come up. I need you to tell our viewers what makes Touch Kings different from the other academies.
First and foremost, me growing up in America and playing American soccer is more like Football. I'm sorry. You see, they got to me, guys. They got to me. Jeez. But no, American football, right? So what I've noticed is from before they can't even dribble properly, we have people like forcing win. Like they got to win the game. And then now where Coach Omar just said, when they get to 16 now and 17, where now it's time to really coach you about positioning and tactics and whatever the case may be, you don't have the basic fundamentals of just really ball mastery. So I really feel like what makes us different is we want to win every game. Nobody really likes losing, you know. We don't want to lose a mentality, but at the same time, we encourage the failure. You know, we encourage you to mess it up because that's the only way you get better at the end of the day. So with the ball, our main focus is a lot on the ball. Because I feel like once you are good individually, you be able to help the collective. So now there's no weak link. There's no weak spots on the field. Everybody's comfortable on the ball. Everybody's confident and have some type of belief in their skill. It's much easier to play than where you banking on 3 kids or 4 or 5 kids and there's a team of 11 or whatever the case may be. So what makes us different is, one, we create an environment where you can make the mistakes. We coach you hard, but we coach you to let you know that, hey, this mistake is not a bad mistake. What can you do next time? Or what did you do well this time that you can take, and what would you change? So you kind of encourage them, because that's the only way you get better. The more you take action and the more attempts you take, the better the outcome will be. And then, that's pretty much it.
Anything you would like to add on?
Yeah.
I guess y'all really like twins, huh?
Spot
So
on.
whatever he says.
Ball mastery. You got to be good on the ball.
You're playing with the ball.
You can't play with the ball. You really can't play. You got to be good on the ball. Like, that's the main point. Like, if you go, and sorry, I hate that.
No,
Once I get going, I get going.
No, it's all good.
But, like, what a lot of kids that bother me with kids is like, they will see a drill that they did on Monday, and they'll get upset if they have to do it on Wednesday. But they don't understand, no matter if you at Madrid, you in Man United City, you do the same drill over and over and over.
Muscle memory.
It doesn't change. So that's the one thing where it's like, it's hard to connect with kids sometimes. It's like, oh, Coach, we did this last, but it's the repetition. They want the fancy stuff with the cones and make it look good, but 9 times out of 10, you know what I mean, 85% of the game is control and pass. And maybe you might do a step over every now and then, or you might do a Maradona, but can you control and pass and make a good decision? And the only way you do that is when you have supreme confidence in yourself on the ball. And that's what makes us different. We develop kids. We don't care if we win every trophy from U7 to U13. We want to make sure by the time you U16 that your goal is somewhere different. Like, you want to play D1, you want to be national, whatever the case may be. We're not really looking at the local level type of things. We got bigger picture.
Me, I welcome them to the family. You're coming into a family. This club is different. The feeling, the treatment, the extra mile. Like, no lie, Ali, I'm talking about we're on the phone at 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m., talking about meet me at the field at 6 a.m. so we can get the grass cut for the kids to play.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing, painting the picture.
We enjoy that. We enjoy that. Like, I'm talking about the crunch time, the pressure to the feeling to make sure when they get to that field and they're about to have their game, they're happy.
Yeah, they got a smile on their face. Field is ready.
That is the cherry on top. So you're coming into a family. He and I have high school level experience coaching. We've won in high school. We've won in club. We've done college as well. We train professional players. So it's easy to take and look at a new player coming in, be able to evaluate him in one training session and say, okay, this is where he is now. But because of the past experiences, how many players you've dealt with, different ages, you can pretty much tell how a player can look in a year under you, 5 years under you, and how far you can take that player. So you're coming into a family. You know, you're not... You might start as a stranger because we all do, but the family grew from 18 kids, you know, to 296.
So what are the age groups? So everyone knows what age groups Touch Kings caters to right now?
Our youngest player is 5 years old.
Wow.
But he's playing U7.
That's 2 up.
2 years up. Our youngest player. And the crazy thing is, his dad played for us in high school.
Wow. Circle again.
Rudy, right?
Yeah.
Small circle.
I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
You didn't blow up overnight. You blew up because you did 10 years of work and you've been around and that dad that has a son now played for you. Where do you think his nephews and his brother's kids are going to go?
Absolutely.
So, and then look around the club as well. Sorry to cut you off. Look around the club. How many kids inside the club have relationships? Like in your case,
cousins and cousins and cousins.
Yeah. So it's family.
Yeah.
Like,
To piggyback off that family thing, we have a whole social club at Touch Kings. Like parents come in and they drop the kids off and they go do their own thing. Like that's how much of a family environment that we got at Touch Kings. They come, the moms go do their mom things, the dad go do their dad things, and when you come in, it's a real live atmosphere where everybody's feel like they happy and they welcome and they got a friend there where they like spending time. So,
and I've noticed it too with me being with the club from the get. There's a few kids that came in and his mom was telling me how comfortable he feels from the previous club he was in. I'm not gonna put no names out, but like he's only been here just this winter session, by the way. Not even, he wasn't here in the spring. And he plays in the 2012 age group. And his mom came and told me. So it was a couple grid lab
shout out
practice.
to my man Tyrese. That's Tyrese.
So
he scored a bike.
He scored a bicycle in a futsal game.
Can we clip that?
I could put that in there.
Y'all got to see the bike. It was a nice bike. We got to shout him out. Shout out Tyrese, man.
And he attempted it.
Twice.
Yeah, like that was not like a fluke, because you know it was legit.
He was itching for one.
But just to piggyback to the whole me being also a parent there with Touch Kings, the whole family aspect. So Tyrese, I didn't want to put him on the spot, but we'll put him on the spot. We'll give him spotlight. Come to Grid Lab, and he's working, and then I guess he was having difficulty with a drill. And then his mom, she's watching all this. So, and then one of the other player, went through him on the side while coaches were doing other stuff. He was like, nah, do it this way, this way, this way. And he said when Tyrese got in the car, that's all he talked about, how the other player went out of his way. So he doesn't get, yelled at that he's not paying attention or whatever.
Right.
So he was like, yo, this is how you going to do it. And then like Tyrese, like he was the most excited.
It meant a lot to him.
It meant a lot to him. Just like she watched kids when they do laps and kids are lapping, so the older kids will stay back, so that way he doesn't get in trouble. So it looks like we're all running at the same pace. So this is a great example that I think I witnessed. And being that I've played before, I know what it means when you are behind and then everybody else is lifting you up. And that's very important in at any age. I don't care what age group it is.
Not to cut you off. That's what we try to teach at Touch Kings. Like we try to use the game and try to teach life through it. We try to build the character because these are young men and these are the future for real. These kids are the future. So anything that we can teach through the sport, just character building, because I mean, this is the best way I think I can do it. It's so many, not just soccer, but any sport. There's so much life lessons within sports that you can translate to real life that I'm really glad that the kids that, they pick up on those little things, those character traits that make them not just a good soccer player, but strong men in society. And that's something that we also try to build in our players.
Be a good human.
Yeah, be a good person, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Out of let's say out of 100 players, you'll probably have one pro player, but you can create 99 professional people for society as well.
Say that again for the people in the back. The people in the back. Say that one more time.
You can have 100 players. Out of those 100, one can become a professional player. But you as the coach, you can create 99 professional people for society.
That's real talk right there. And before we finish up and tie it up, so Touch Kings 2020, right? 4 years. The next, like a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years, 5 years, where do you see Touch Kings?
Around the world. Bro, it's around the world already. Trust me. Like, I lie to you not. The friends that I have overseas, every time I go there, Touch Kings. I lie to you now, we have a men's team now as well. And there's a player coming from England to come play on the Touch Kings men's team this spring season.
That's dope.
There was a Touch Kings kid that went down to Chile to spend 1 month there. He's working with the scout that took Christian Pulisic to Dortmund.
Oh, that's dope.
Okay, there's Touch Kings players right now. One player that's in Orlando for Interregionals ODP. One step closer to being on the U.S. youth national team.
Wow.
So, we weren't here at a podcast 3 years ago.
Absolutely not.
So, personally, I don't like to look into the future. You gotta enjoy these days, but you gotta work even harder these days to make sure that those next 5 years include facilities, includes travels, includes those 18 kids that we started with. Where do you think you're gonna be in 5 years? They'll be 17, 18.
That's right.
And where do you think they're gonna put Touch Kings at? They'll put Touch Kings on a map. Because by then, they'll have been around 8, 9 years. And if they stay 3 years with you already, they're going to stay another 6 years with you because they just know. So
they're in the right place.
We're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I want to be global. I don't even want to be nationwide. This is just me. I'm a big thinker. I'm a big dreamer. Big vision. I think we can go global with it, whereas we can be a one-stop shop for everything that you need soccer. If you need a trainer, Touch Kings got you. You need a team, Touch Kings got you. You want to go overseas, Touch Kings got you. So it's whereas we trying to create an environment where everything's under one umbrella. Right now, it's very hard to compete with like the MLS Next Hub clubs because obviously they have, the MLS, whatever, affiliation. So what can we do to combat that? We not really problem seekers, we're really solution seekers, So we look for things to say, okay, it's an obstacle, but we can get around it. So what we're trying to do, like I said before, we want to develop kids. We want to be the best developmental club global. It might seem far-fetched right now, but you got to start somewhere. So now if let's say Maryland knows and Touch Kings got the best kids or whatever, we just want to be known and say, hey, this club developed players on the field and off the field, and I like those kids because they came from Touch Kings. And just go off of what he said, we never know 5 years from now what can happen. God's willing, hopefully the kids that we have now, they put us on the map even more, but that's not the goal. The goal is to really just make an impact. Because like from the beginning, when I was growing up back in Jamaica and in PG, I just wish somebody would have come out and just, open your hips. This is what open your hip mean. Just little stuff. Yeah, you don't even know how much just showing the effort to come out and just showing a little tip would do for somebody, man. I can remember like when I was in high school, I was at Blandesburg at this time, and then like a police officer came out one day, and then he couldn't play, but the man just bought a whole bunch of soccer balls, and then like just the effort to show like little things like that. I feel like us as adults sometimes don't realize how far it goes. So it's not just the soccer and then global. We really want to make an impact because a lot of kids, especially now, are kind of like lost. So if they can find themselves within the sport and we can help them do that, and maybe they don't become the best soccer player, but they become the best whatever through the sport, I mean, I think that's a win for everybody. So that's where we at with it.
All right. Anything else you think we left out that you guys would like to add on?
Shoutouts.
All right. Who you got to shout out?
I got to shout out our players.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a club without players. I want to shout out our parents as well. Players don't come to practice without parents. Our coaches, they don't. Who's going to teach the players?
Right.
When they come to practice. Our team managers.
Man, let's drop the names for each team manager. Can we do that?
You want me to do that?
Yes, please.
Let me start at the
start at the baby age.
2016's Laura.
Big up, Laura.
Big up, Laura. Give it a.
Let's go, Laura.
2015's Stephanie. 2014 Premier. Kobe. No, Devon.
Yeah, Devon.
2014 Elite. Kobe.
Let's go, Kobe.
2012 Premier. Erica.
Let's go.
2012 Elite. Right Out.
Yeah, Mr. Right Out.
Right out.
The GOAT.
2011 Premier. George Gow.
Let's go, Mr. George.
2011 Elite. Willie Stewart.
Mr. Stewart, the professional.
Yeah.
2010's Rashida.
Hey, don't miss with Rashida.
2008 Premier. Kobe. 2008 Elite. Kelly.
Let's go, Kelly.
2007's we have Daryl and Carol.
Yeah, we got two managers.
Yep. And that's shout out to the team managers.
Hey.
Lastly, sponsors as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, sponsors huge. Sponsor is actually what gives the opportunity to not send a kid because they can't afford it.
That's big.
We came from a background you couldn't afford soccer. So should we be the ones to send a kid that couldn't afford it? Shout out to the sponsors, ESOB and IMEC.
Let's go. Sponsors.
Yep.
Anything else?
You too.
Yeah, shout out the media team, man. Let's give a shout out to Henry in the background.
Press that. Which one is it?
Let's shout out Henry in the background.
That one right here.
This is one time for Henry and one time for you as well. You don't go unnoticed.
Hey, before we close this out, I would like to let everyone know that this particular episode of Inside TKFC is brought to you by MTZ Studios. You too, if you want to record your own podcast, they got the room, they got the lights, the cameras, whatever you need. MTZ Studios. We're going to put the link and everything here at the end of the video so you know where to go when you want to book your session over here for a podcast. Any podcast. We don't judge here. And we're going to finish this off, but we got to finish off with a little fun. And I know what my answer is. Ronaldo or Messi?
Hey. Me personally, I'm a Ronaldo fan, but Messi. I like Ronaldo though, but I can't. Dang it! I thought we was together on that one.
I'm the host. I ain't got to say who.
Ivan Toney.
One game back. Yeah.
One game back, he was already back on it.
Messi. Yeah, I give Messi that. Man, I appreciate y'all. This is just one of many. This is one of many podcasts. Inside TKFC also is available on the Touch Kings YouTube page, which we will post also underneath here. And we're going to keep stuff coming out. So this is the first of many podcasts where we're going to get to meet all the members, players, managers, coaches inside Touch Kings FC. Not only on the pitch, but we'll also come out here, have a little chat, get to know them. Appreciate y'all. Until next time.